Hello and happy Tuesday. Good afternoon. I am so happy to be with you this afternoon, and I am in the process of making sure that I can see your comments before I jump into everything and give a few more people a chance to chime in. So let me get this party started. I am almost set up to where I can see people's comments. Awesome. Okay, so welcome and thank you for tuning in on this beautiful Tuesday. I am in Orlando, Florida. Feel free to chime in and tell me where you are coming in and chiming in from. I thank you for tuning in live. As always, it's such a blessing that you guys take time out of your schedule to join me live during your lunch break, hopefully. And those who are listening to the replay, I thank you also for taking time out of your schedule to listen to the replay and just to hear a little bit of nutrition news for the mind, the body, and the soul. So as you chime in, as you log in, I see people logging on. Please feel free to say hello to me. I would love to hear from you, okay? And again, a little public service announcement that I like to spread. Continue to exercise safe precautions. We have a vaccine, yes, but we still have to wear a mask. We still have to exercise social distancing, unfortunately. So please continue to stay safe. Unfortunately, these numbers are still going up instead of down. So we want to get past this sooner than later. So please continue to exercise safe precautions. Okay, and I see people chiming in, and I'm going to look for comments. So you'll see me looking around looking for comments because I definitely want to engage with each and every one of you. All righty, let me make sure that we are all set up here before I jump in. And the buzz, okay, the buzz has been spreading around about my upcoming nutrition, weight loss, and total body wellness group program, okay, called Body Reboot Blueprint. Stay tuned to the end so you still have time to grab your spot, okay? This thing doesn't start until Thursday, okay? And so definitely here's the URL. You can check it out, and the coupon code is there as well. So definitely check it out. So today I am up close, candid, no chaser, to the point about my own personal health journey, okay? And before I jump in, I see, all right, Parson is on. How you doing? And my husband is on, Cutler as well. Thank you all for tuning in. And my divine obligation is to show people, okay, a new way of living and to share the joy about not having to suffer, feel stuck any longer about their present weight or either their health, okay? And my greatest joy is giving people results, giving them solutions as to what is possible for their health, their wellness. The priceless results are that people are gaining back their health, they're gaining back their control one day at a time, ultimately until their goals are reached. My mission, my big why I do what I do is simply to help people to experience the effects that small changes with eating, exercising, sleep patterns, all that has on our bodies for three reasons. One, our quality of life, okay? You want to have energy throughout the day. You want to be pain free, disease free, right? You want quantity of life. People don't think about that. You want to live long on this earth, and how well we live on this earth and how gracefully and independently we age. We want to be able to walk on our own. We want to be able to take care of ourselves as long as we can without assistance, okay? And that is really what it's all about. And what we do now really dictates all of that. And so I have a question for each one of you. Which one resonates with you the most? Is it quality of life, quantity of life, or aging gracefully, or even all three are important? But which one really resonates with you? I'm really curious to know which one resonates with you because, and if it's all, stay all of them, okay? It truly breaks my heart, though, to see people when they live in pain, they're not liking what they see in the mirror, they're tired all day, they are on multiple meds. I had one client say that they're on the meds for the meds, which I thought was a real good way of saying it, living with a chronic illness or getting newly diagnosed, okay? And trust me when I say this, okay? Many of these situations are very preventable, okay? Everything is not linked to genetics or the fact that we're getting older, okay? Our destiny is not shaped by our family history all the time, okay? So I truly believe that the sooner we take action over our own health using safe, effective, long-term solutions as key, And the earlier we take action, then in making our health a priority, then the less sick we are as a country. Okay. So I see some comments. Let me chime in and see what comments I may be potentially missing here. Let me chime in. Let's see here. I will just come in this section here. So, okay, quality. Okay, Krista says quality. So a lot of people are saying quality and aging gracefully. Absolutely, absolutely. All of that is important. Alrighty. And so we are, we're in the days where so much nutrition information is what readily at our fingertips, right? And to the point where we don't know really what is and what is not anymore. And so some of it's credible, some of it's evidence-based, safe, effective to follow. But unfortunately, though, a lot of it is misguided, it's misinterpreted, it's conflicting, and it leads to unhealthy side effects long term. So, such as a time as this, for me to open up and to talk about my personal health journey and story. And I generally term it as the setback comeback story. Okay. So, basically, how the setback of high blood pressure and weight loss led to my comeback as a registered dietitian. And so I will share 3 points. So one, my struggle with high blood pressure, and I was in complete denial about the fact that I needed to lose weight when I was in my early 30s. I will go a little bit deeper with that struggle that I had in denial than what I usually do in videos, because fad dieting and restricting calories, sugar, carbs, however you want to word it, are generally the first course of action to address weight loss and some kind of medical condition, right? And it's really been hard. It's really been on my heart to open up about and to speak out about the transparency about all of this and the issues that that can cause. Then the second point I would make is the trigger that finally led me to get some help, get some help in losing weight. And then finally, how high blood pressure and losing weight ultimately it changed my life for the better. Okay. And I'm gonna post a banner up here and I want to take a poll. So if you have high blood pressure or even pre-hypertension, I'm really interested in knowing if how many people who are listening in are dealing with that themselves. Okay. And it's comfort in knowing that you're not alone. Okay. Definitely. So let's start with my struggle. Okay. So every person has different pain points, right? Most people, especially women, we have that weight loss story or stories. And my wake up call was in my early 30s. And during this time, I was living my best life. I was single. I was just doing me. I went to the doctor regularly. My blood pressure was beginning to elevate more and more every time I went to the doctor. And I do have a family history. My mother, my maternal grandmother, of high blood pressure. I was advised to, purchase a blood pressure monitor, begin tracking my blood pressure at home. And so eventually my blood pressure readings they were just consistently in what we call that pre-hypertensive range, both at home and at the doctor's visit. So it wasn't just stress of being in the doctor. It was high at home too. And about a year passes and my blood pressure readings are in and out of normal range. And finally the doctor tagged me with prehypertension. I was advised at that time to lose at least 20 pounds. They said 20 to 25 pounds and to reduce my salt intake. And so I was handed this sheet of paper and with this list of foods that I was to avoid because they were high in salt or sodium. And then I was said, okay, we'll follow up in 3 months. And so at the time, the doctor said that they would reassess and they would decide if they were going to put me on medications, which, when you're on medications, of course, that means you're going to get the diagnosis, right? And so let me ask you all this question. Um, and while I'm posting that, I'm going to look at the comments. Hey, Elisa. Okay. Oh, okay. Krista chimed in. Thank you for sharing that. She says she has high blood pressure as well. Thank you for sharing that. So, my question for you is, have you ever left the doctor's office unsure, afraid of what to eat, what to do, where to go from the bombshell that you have just received from the doctor? And this was about 2002. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. I mean, I walked to my car. I was in total disbelief. For the first time, I had left the doctor's office kind of scared. Well, I was. I was scared. I was confused. And I was without a plan. But I was determined. or stubborn, but I was determined to not get on medications. Okay. I was prideful. I wanted to break the family cycle of high blood pressure and taking medications and things like that. But worst of all, I did not know what to do next. And I said to myself, what in the world am I going to do? How in the world am I going to lose 25 pounds? And I was scared. I was in complete denial because in my mind, I didn't need to lose weight. But the truth of the matter is, when I got on the scale at the doctor that day, it was the highest that it had ever been. And for me, it was a slow, gradual weight gain, pretty much unnoticed by me. So I didn't even really realize it. And it happened over really a course of a year, to be honest with you. And on top of that, I was exercising every day. So I do have that testimony of you can't outwork out a bad diet or your lifestyle. And so that wasn't keeping my weight in check. And if you're not eating right, eventually your body will shut down and you will not lose weight, much less keep it off. And that's pretty much what I was experiencing. And despite the reminders from my doctor, I had a very difficult time accepting the fact that I was overworking my heart and that I was putting myself now at risk for diabetes and kidney problems because I did not take it seriously. I didn't really do anything about it for at least a year, almost 2 years. I just kind of was like, okay, this will pass. This will pass. Um, does anybody relate to this so far? So post in there if you've ever felt scared. Just say you relate. Just post if you ever felt scared and denial about something that a doctor has told you. And I did what most people do and still do to this day. I did my own research. Okay. I did my own research. I tried to self-educate. I was in my original career, I was still a computer programmer analyst at the time. And I'm researching, trying to figure out, well, what do I need to do to lower my blood pressure? What do I need to do to lose weight? Back then, it wasn't a lot of the confusing misinformation that you see right now. And so my search led me to what's called the DASH diet. And I encourage you to, especially those who have high blood pressure, to look that up as DASH dash diet. And it emphasizes whole foods and whole grains and beans and fruits and vegetables without a lot of added sugar, low fat dairy, lean meat in moderation and healthy fats. So basically, what we would call an overall healthy eating pattern. And to this day, actually, that diet is one of the top rated diets, believe it or not. Well, eating pattern. It's not really a diet; it's an eating pattern. And so, post if you've ever heard of it, because a lot of people haven't heard of it. So, if you've ever heard of the DASH diet, kind of post, say, "I've heard of it," and if you haven't, then definitely check it out. But the blessing for me was that I was able to make some changes, the best changes as I knew it at the time, without overly restricting. Okay, so I didn't cut out food groups. I did not do anything that would unknowingly cause me more problems down the line. So the first little piece of good news was it was an eye opener, y'all. It was an eye opener on how nutrient poor I was really eating. I mean, I was single. I did cook more than I ate out, but just the things that I was choosing and the things that I was selecting really wasn't. I had a lot of improvements to do. Let's put it that way. I wasn't doing the obvious like TV dinners and things like that, but I was eating a lot more highly processed than my body could handle. And so for 3 months, I faithfully followed, the foods, the plans, the recipes that was part of this particular eating pattern. And I didn't eat out because I was really wanting to see if it was going to make a difference because I really was determined to not get on medications. And so I saw some results. I felt better. I had more energy. I can see it in my hair and things like that. So I can tell that I was getting more nutrients in. The not so good news was my blood pressure still was high. It wasn't consistent. Every blue moon, it was in the normal range, but it was more out of the range than in the range. And very similar to yo-yo dieting and things like that, I pretty much was doing the same thing with my heart, if I'm really being honest about it. And it was dangerous. And so I really was only addressing half of the problem because my weight didn't change. It didn't go up, but it didn't change either. So I hadn't lost the 20, 25 pounds that the doctor had desired that I do. And I significantly reduced, the amount of sodium and things of that nature. But again, my weight was high. I mean, my weight was still high, yes, and my blood pressure was still high. And so I continued. The doctors are constantly warning me because I'm being prideful, saying, "Okay, Sandra, you're overworking your heart. You're overworking your heart. You're placing yourself at risk. Pretty much how long am I going to do this?" Is pretty much what they were saying to me, and and at the same time, that I was trying to address the problem through lifestyle change. Um, you know, they were accepting of that, but they were like, "Okay, let me know when you're ready to take this pill." So they pretty much was appeasing me and allowing me to try to do it, but it wasn't working out for me. And I do have a question for you all. And just post if you have had a very similar experience where the doctor is telling you one thing, but you're still trying to find your own way out. So post if you've actually had that, if you can co-sign and relate to that. So just post another way out if you've ever experienced that. Okay. And I see several comments. Let me see if I can see them. And I definitely want to chime in. Yes, thanks you, Parson. He said he can relate. There a lot of people can say they're relating. Uh-huh. Elisa, or the threat of a bombshell. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Thanks for sharing that, Kamika. When she was diagnosed with diabetes, that was her bombshell, and that was her that moment where you're scared of the doctor. Hey, Jamae. Uh-huh. Yes, absolutely. So good, good. I'm not alone. Because you always feel like you're alone. At the time, I really felt like I was alone too. And I was in my early 30s. So who do you share that kind of stuff with in your early 30s? So the trigger, okay? So this is what finally led me to get some help. Okay, so I'm around 32, 33 now, and I'm at a dialysis center. Okay, and I don't know if you guys have ever been to a dialysis center, but this is when somebody has zero kidney function. Okay, and they have to get hooked up to a machine 3 times a week for about 3 to 4 hours in order to flush the toxins out of their body because their kidneys are no longer working. And what I learned on that visit is that, unless there's a congenital problem with your kidneys, a lot of times people are on dialysis because of uncontrolled hypertension and or uncontrolled diabetes for years, like 20, 30, like years, okay? And this terrified me. Now I'm in my 30s, I'm seeing this, and this terrifies me. And I'm like, that's not how I want to live. And it really shook me up. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm around here trying to fix myself, and I'm adamant about not taking a pill. And is this my future dialysis? Because I didn't do something in my 30s, and that really shook me. That really shook me. And it's almost like a voice was like, Sandra, you know better than this. And so that's when I made the decision to really get serious about trying to lose this weight. And I accepted my own failed attempts because I had failed. I was not able to figure it out. And so I sought out the help of a dietitian myself. And this was really my first one-on-one encounter with a dietitian. And so she fine-tuned what I was doing. She continued the principles that I was following with Dash because I actually was on the right track with that, but I wasn't able to address the weight loss piece. Those were the dots that I didn't understand. And so she tweaked that to where I was in a healthy weight loss range, but yet I was still getting the nutrients from the eating pattern. And over the course of 3 months, I did lose 20 pounds. And I remember feeling confident because my eating was on point, my weight was down, I'm feeling lighter. And after losing the weight, I was like, okay, guess what? My blood pressure was still not in check. So I had periods when it was low or normal, but it was more high than normal. And so I went to the doctor. I threw in the towel. At this point, I threw in the towel because I was stressed out at this point trying to manage my blood pressure. So now it's high all the time because I'm stressed out because all the things that I'm doing, I've gotten professional help. I'm not just doing this on my own anymore, and it's still not working. And I was mad. I'm like, I've seen people lose less weight than I had to lose, and their blood pressure is perfect. But for me, I'm an anomaly. And but I was being counterproductive too, because I'm gambling with my life. I'm around here trying to fix myself and it's not working. And finally, I was diagnosed with what they call essential hypertension. Okay. And this means no known cause. And I was disappointed. I would not be telling the truth if I did not say I wasn't. I was disappointed. I was angry. I was frustrated. And I went there. I went there. I was like, what was the point in me changing how I ate, me changing my lifestyle, me doing all this stuff that I did, lost the weight, if I still have to take a pill, if I still had to get the diagnosis? And I went to a cardiologist, and they were like, well, on paper, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have this problem. But in order for them to really determine why my blood pressure got as high as it did, that I would have had to do a lot more invasive testing. And that cardiologist was like, you're in your 30s, it's not worth it. And I took that advice, but I was mad. I was in a dark place for a long time. Okay, and I'm like, I might as well eat what I want to eat. Might as well do what I want to do. And co-sign if you can relate to this. I mean, I literally was like, why? And finally, the Lord spoke to me and said, well, Sandra, had you not made those changes, had you not lost the weight, had you not gotten a handle on your lifestyle and how you're eating, you would have way more problems than your blood pressure right now. Okay. And so that really shook me. And I really believe that the denial, that the challenges, and all the changes that I had to make was really God's way of showing me a different direction for my life. And at that very moment, that's when I stopped looking at my diagnosis as a setback. Because y'all, I felt like I had failed. I was like, man, I can't believe this is happening to me. I did everything I was told to do. And so I really felt it was a setback for me. And I began to see a blessing in it. I began to see it it ultimately saved my life. I later found out my vitamin D levels were severely low. I mean, I was heading for all kind of problems, and I did not even know it. And the change, all those changes, it changed the course of my life. It really did. And now that challenge became my testimony. Okay. And then my comeback. So my comeback. This is how I became a dietitian. This is how the motivation to become a dietitian. And so that process of researching and trying to figure out how to get my own blood pressure down, how to figure out how to get my own weight down, I saw things along the year. I saw things along the way. I saw where people were following inaccurate information. They were doing things that were causing harm to their body, and unfortunately, they didn't know it. And that is when I was like, oh wow, no, I need to go back to school and get the credentials to support the experience so that I can really help people. And in the two aha moments that I got during this journey was I will never forget how I felt when I walked out of the doctor. I was tagged pre-hypertension. I was given this cookie cutter plan, stop eating these foods, but no real direction on what to do with that. And I think that's one of the biggest frustrations because that still happens to this day. And then witnessing people who were following misguided information, not knowing it, to try to lose weight or to try to lower their blood sugar and causing other problems. And I'm like, no, I don't want this to happen to people. And I want to ask you this before I move on. Let's see, let me post this question. So let me know that if let's see here. Let me make sure. Yes, changes. So reply some changes that you made. So those who either not just with blood pressure, but maybe your fasting levels. Post some changes that you have made to keep your blood pressure or your sugar levels in check. Because I know this would be very, very helpful for some people because what works for one person does not work for another person. So maybe you ate out less, or you ate more fruits, or you ate more vegetables, or you cut down on your meat or something, but share some of the things that that have had a direct impact on your life and you managing a certain illness that you have. Okay. And so before getting into my life now and how things are going for me now, I want to share how excited I am about this group program called Body Reboot Blueprint. And a lot of what I just shared with you and a lot of my experience is what fueled the development of this particular group course, and it's 5 weeks to reset and recalibrate your weight loss and your energy levels. And it kicks off this Thursday at 7:30, and it's not too late to sign up. This first week is all about getting started, and it's all about preparing for week number one. Your week number one meal plan, which really begins on Monday, February 1st. So there's a lot of time there. So this week is all about prepping and just really getting things acclimated to the program. It's fun, it's exciting, and this program is unique. It's unique because it doesn't just focus on food, okay? It also focuses on self-care, which generally falls, through the cracks when people are trying to lose weight. The best way to take care of you, such as sleep and exercise and water needs and fun, having fun time. So it's basically 4 weeks of live training, 4 weeks of 7-day meal plans with a different theme every week. So I'm excited about that. And it incorporates my 5-step approach to total body wellness. So we're going to be talking about some of the things that I will talk about in the lives are improving your sleep quality. How do you get quality sleep? Effective and efficient exercise, maximizing your water needs, and how to determine your water needs properly. Making time for hobbies, enjoyment, and fun, setting life boundaries. Okay, that's important too. And meal prepping and planning made easy. That's really important. And some of the past participants' successes are they were able to control their emotional eatings, their cravings. They were able to increase their energy levels without depending on sugar and caffeine and things like that. Sleeping better, sleeping like a baby, not hitting the snooze button. Satisfying meals that allow you to feel full and they're full of variety so you don't get bored. Okay. Lowering your blood pressure, fasting sugar levels, healthy and sustainable weight loss, and so much more. Okay. So definitely check out the URL. Okay. Definitely. It's plenty of time to sign up. So where am I today? My life now. So I have maintained my weight loss, so that 20 to 25-pound weight loss since 2004. Okay. So that's a praise report in itself, right? And I had a lot of life events that happened during that time. I got married in 2011. My son was born in 2014, things of that nature. And I went back to school. So those stresses of going back to school, changing careers, leaving corporate America, trying to start my own thing, and those fears that go on. So yeah, I was stressed. I'm still stressed. How did I do that? I had to give myself a lot of permission, give myself permission to eat, not beating myself up when I overindulged. I had a window. I had a 5-pound gain window for myself. And when I kind of got close to that, well, when I got to that 5 pounds, sometimes 6 or 7, I had to reel it back in. I had to reel myself back in. And in my life, since I lost the original weight, is way more complicated than what it was when I was in my 30s. I have to be intentional. I have to stay intentional about keeping my weight in check and controlling my own stress eating and emotional eating. And, but that's a whole nother live right there. But I truly believe that food is medicine. Okay. It's medicine for our mind, our bodies, and our soul. And I also believe that I believe in eating. I believe in eating food. I love that I can keep up with my 6-year-old son because he is full of energy. And I'm actually in better shape than when I was in 2004. Or yeah, 2004. I'm actually in better shape just because of my lifestyle changes that I've done over time. It didn't happen overnight, by no means. It's over time, a gradual process. Consistent nutrition, exercise, and in different seasons. I had to do different things in different seasons, so it wasn't always the same thing that I had to do to kind of keep things in check. So I continue to take a medication for my blood pressure. So that's something that is with me for life. I can't avoid that. It is controlled with medicine, but I do have to watch what I eat, and I do have to keep my weight in check because when I do slip too much for too long, my blood pressure does go up. So I have to keep it in check. Luckily, my cholesterol and blood sugar and all those things are in check. But what's really most important, what I really want to share is that I'm able to do what I love to do because I'm able to help you. I'm able to help people no longer struggle because a lot of times people think, oh, I have diabetes. Oh, I have high blood pressure. There is like almost like a death sentence. And I don't want people to ever feel like that. These conditions are very manageable. I've had plenty of people lower their meds because of their eating, and losing weight has helped them so much. that, so it's not our destiny. Okay. We don't have to die from it. We don't have to, live a certain way because we have these conditions. And that's really what it's all about. So I can do it. You definitely can do it. It was not an easy road for me. And I didn't have a lot of support. So it's kind of like I was on my own. So I understand the struggle very, very much. And so I had to get out of my head. I'll repeat that. I had to get out of my head. I had to accept the fact that I needed help and that I could not do it alone. And it wasn't worth the risk of me continuing to try to do it alone. So it's been 17 years roughly of gradual change and adjustments based on the season that's in my life. And the more you do it, it becomes habit. So a lot of things I don't even think about. It just happens because I'm on autopilot. And am I perfect? Absolutely not. Do I ever get off course? Do I ever get off course? Absolutely, I do. That's life. That's going to always happen. Just because I'm a dietitian, that does not immune me to falling off track. I'm supposed to know better, right? But hey, I'm human too, right? So I'm going to check out some comments here. And yep, ate out less. So some people say, okay, so Kamika said that she eats out less. That's how she's managing her diabetes. Krista says she checks labels for low sodium. I do that a lot. That's what Krista does, and those are good starts. That's called being mindful. Okay, so that is all I have for you. Definitely check out Body Reboot. I look forward to working with you and just sharing all that I have with you and to give you all that I have, because I want you to be empowered. I want you to be informed. I want you to feel good about the choices that you make for yourself and your family. So I hope you found this inspirational and motivating. And hey, you know that I have the same struggles as you. So I really do get it and I really do understand. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.